She's been described by many as one of the most fiercest and respected female wrestlers on the independent circuit. Diva Dirt, they actually named her one of the top 5 divas to watch in 2012, and so far she's been building quite a resume for herself, having competed in promotions such as Combat Zone Wrestling, Shimmer, WSU, Beyond Wrestling, Shine Wrestling, which, as you guys know, is a promotion that we cover on a monthly basis here. And that's just for starters. There's many more promotions that she's worked under. Now, she's currently part of the campaign to better CZW. It's a stable with CZW World Champion Drew Gulk. Please, folks, help me welcome the one and only Kimber Lee. Kimber, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Oh, doing very good. Thank you so much for taking the time out to do this. It means a lot. How was your Thanksgiving holiday?
My Thanksgiving was good. I spent it with family and did that whole thing, but hope yours was good as well.
Yes, it's good. I must admit, I ate a little too much though, but it was good nonetheless.
I mean, that's part of the holiday. Eat too much and then go to the gym and do extra the next day.
Yes, it tastes so good, but then you're in the gym the next day. It's like, oh, why did I go overkill with that peach pie or pumpkin pie, whatever pie you guys like to eat? I know over here it's like a little bit of everything over here.
Oh yeah,
all
pie. I don't really know if I found one I don't like yet.
I know, right? Oh man, I want to begin by asking you. You know, one of the things that kind of jumped out there at me about you is that growing up, you were a fan of the WWF Attitude Era. One of the people I believe you said you admired at the time was the Ninth Wonder of the World, China. I know you probably only had saw bits and pieces of it as your mom wasn't too keen of you watching the product or wrestling, period. But from that period, is there anything that you can really remember from that, like as far as what wrestlers it was that kind of had you go, you know what, this is something that I want to be doing when I grow up?
Absolutely. I mean, yes, I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling as a kid. It was always me turning the TV on, and then I hear my mom come into my room and turning it off real fast and acting like I was doing something else. So things that I can really remember that stick out are obviously China. I love the fact that she would be put up against the men, which is something I've been fortunate enough to do in my career so far, too. And I remember I always was a big fan of Triple H, too, and The Rock, and, like, all those types of people that I would pick up on. And the biggest, like, match that always sticks out in my head is, I believe it was China and Jeff Jarrett, and it was kind of like a kitchen, like, home appliance hardcore match. I don't remember what the exact, like, title of it was, but that is definitely something that sticks out, too, from when I was watching it, and just being in awe of that and never really knowing until I grew up how to get to that point and become a professional wrestler, but I have been lucky enough and fortunate enough to be able to pursue that.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you've come across this in your time, but I'd love to get your thoughts on this. We actually have some folks out there, the newer generation of wrestling fans, who look at hours and hours of wrestling probably on YouTube, and they'll actually say that the WWF Attitude Era, there was really nothing impressive or jaw-dropping about it. I'm very quick to tell people, the younger audience that is, that if you missed the train with that initially, you know, you weren't born like maybe in the 80s or something like that, then you really aren't going to have a true appreciation for it, because that was really the best of times in pro wrestling. You know, you had to actually be living in that moment to really grasp it. What's your thoughts when you hear some folks talk about the Attitude Era like that?
Well, I mean, for me, it is such a special time and period in wrestling, just because that's when I fell in love with it. So, I mean, for me, it's like, what do you mean that's not what it, like, impressive? Like, for me, that is what made me love this. And so I don't know. I think it is a big part of it is when you're you're born or introduced into wrestling, I mean, that's always going to be the most special time for you.
Yeah. Now, do you get a chance to check out the current WWE product?
Well, with 3 jobs and the wrestling schedule I hold, I do miss it quite often, but I try my best to record it and see what's going on, or find the pay-per-views playing at different restaurants and go watch them when they come on or whatever. So I try, but I have a ridiculously insane schedule, so I miss it a lot.
That's understandable. Well, have you at least been able to see a little bit this year?
Oh, yeah. I definitely have seen a little bit. For sure.
Okay. So I'm curious, what's your thoughts on the current WWE product when you compare it to the Attitude Era?
I mean, I miss it being a little bit more on the PG-13 side than it's a little too nice for me now. But I mean, I still enjoy it. Every time I do get a chance to watch it, it's fun for me. I think the women's division could be a little better. I miss people like Lita and Chyna and Ivory and Trish Stratus and that kind of group of women. But, I mean, there are definitely some women that are there now that I like. Like, I'm a fan of AJ, and I like Natalya and all those people.
Yeah, same here. Natalya, yeah, she is just awesome. I'd never get tired watching her wrestle. Now, something cool that I think most folks might not know about you is that you were born in Seattle, Washington, right?
Yep, born and raised in Seattle, Washington. I moved to the East Coast when I was 18.
18, okay. That is awesome. So, I mean, can you recall what it was like to be living in Seattle in that moment when, like, alternative rock or grunge, as most folks were calling it, was at its highest peak? I mean, my God, man, we had a lot of good bands come from out of there. We had the Alice in Chains, the Soundgarden, Nirvana, Candlebox. I mean, man, was that a huge part on you growing up or on your parents?
Oh, yeah. My mom, she's awesome in the sense that if ever me and my friends are in my room talking about a band we want to go see, my mom usually will pop her head around the corner and go, "Seen them," and then just walk out. So music has always been a huge part of my life. And I swear to you, my mom's seen over 150 different people in concert. It's insane for me, and I do kind of fall right into the category of Seattle grunge kind of being what I listen to the most. I actually recently just went and saw an exhibit there. I was home a couple months ago, and it was when bringing punk to the masses, and it was all about Soundgarden, Nirvana, Tad, that whole group, and it was pretty cool to get to see that, and some of Kurt Cobain's like report cards of his, and I love it, and I do miss that about being out there, that's for sure.
And this is an exhibit, you're saying?
Yeah, well, there's a museum out there. It's Experience Music Project, or the EMP. It's right underneath the Space Needle, and it always has different rotating exhibits, but that one happened to be the one that was there, one of the ones that was featured while I was there, and so it was all about, like, that era. I mean, when it was actually happening, I was pretty young. Like, I was born in 90, so Nirvana was really hitting it big when I was, like, 3 or 4. And my mom will blame me for her never seeing them in concert because she was too busy with the baby.
Oh, God, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, I understand on some of your downtime, you were a dance instructor, right? I'm curious, do you find it to be beneficial to your wrestling, or does it work the other way around?
Oh, it absolutely was beneficial because I've been dancing for 21 years now. I have a degree in dance education. I actually just about 40 minutes ago finished teaching my classes for the night, but it definitely helped me with wrestling. I mean, coming in and learning, I pick up things very, very quickly. I was very good at footwork and just any type of things like that, like, and I can look at somebody and pick up what their movements are, and that's an advantage I had coming into the business.
I see one of your colleagues that worked in Beyond Wrestling, Eddie Edwards. I'm sure some of you listeners out there, you probably know by now. You know, he spent some time in Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Speaking of which, we got to send a shout out to Joey Ryan because he's popped up here a couple of times. Now it looks like he and Davey Richards have made their way to WWE, having debuted in NXT a couple of weeks ago. I got a two-part question for you. How does it make you feel to see your colleagues make it to the Mecca of all wrestling? And second part to that, you know, kind of like WWE, they're, you know, it seems like they've been loosening up over the years to reach out to great talent on the independent circuit, because honestly, that's where the greatest wrestling is, I feel. You know, what's your take when you see guys like that making it into the WWE?
Oh, it makes me so happy because for me and anybody else who's on the independents, it's like it's hope and a chance, and like I feel like there's about to be a change, and it's about to turn more into what is on the independents coming up to the mainstream, and that's what it's going to turn into. And them and people like Dean Ambrose, who I actually, when I was first starting, got to train with, and I also got to train with the now Solomon Crow down there, or Sammy Callahan. He has had a big hand in my training when I first started, and it's really exciting for me to see those people making it, because it gives us all hope, and at least for me, it makes me want to push that much harder to get there myself too.
I would imagine, yeah. Now, I see that you're down there in CZW, and you've got the whole campaign to better CZW. Could you go into a little bit detail about how this opportunity come about for you to be able to work with the CZW champion there?
Yes. Well, I was actually approached by Mr. Gulak, who is the champion there right now, and he brought me into the campaign to be the women's rights activist. My whole part is to prove that women are just as good as the men, and we can stand up to them and fight too, and we shouldn't be looked down upon or looked at as just objects or anything like that. So that's what my job is in the campaign, and I'm very happy to have the opportunity, and very excited for Cage of Death 15 around the corner next weekend.
Yeah, I want to talk to you a little bit more about that, yeah. Now, we got some Shine Wrestling fans over here because we've been covering that promotion for many months, and one of the first times that I actually came across you, I believe it was Shine 12, you took on Kimberly. That was just brilliance right there. Just, you know, Kimberly versus Kimberly. Who gets the credit for that? Was that you girls, or was it the Shine Booking Committee?
It was the Shine Booking Committee. That is how I found out that was going to be the match, and I was very excited because me and Kimberly had definitely wanted to face each other. It was kind of like a almost sort of, hey, that's my name, no, that's my name type of thing. So it was pretty exciting, but you always have to remember, she is Kimberly and I am Kimber Lee. There is a difference.
Exactly. Yeah. that was a really great match. A lot of people, I'm sure, they're probably wondering. Any word on when we could possibly see you come on back there again?
I am not for certain when it will be, but I have heard that I will be back sometime in 2014. So.
All right. You heard it here, folks. She'll be back sometime 2014. Give us a little bit more. First quarter, second quarter.
Yeah, you'll know when I know.
But we know for sure you'll be back.
Yes.
Okay, good. I want to see a rematch with you girls. I really do. I mean that. You worked for so many great promotions. I'm curious, looking back, you know, thinking about the year to come, do you see yourself expanding even farther, maybe even trying to reach out to TNA or WWE? I would imagine working in WWE, as you kind of mentioned earlier, it kind of would be an awesome dream, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the end goal for most of us, just because that's the biggest platform we have to show our talents and show what we can do. So, I mean, I'm just going to push as far as I can. I know I want to travel more internationally and just see how far I can go in the next year and just keep pushing up and up and up.
I know WWE's roster is really limited right now. You had mentioned AJ Lee, Natalya. I'm curious, would those be girls you wouldn't mind facing in the ring if just you wake up one day, boom, you're a WWE diva?
Oh yeah, that would absolutely be awesome. I would love to have a match with either one of those ladies.
Anybody else there kind of jumping out at you like to work with?
Those would be the main two. No, not off. I mean, Tamina. I would love to work Tamina Snuka. There's another one while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. They definitely. Hopefully, in the coming year, they can bring up a few more women up the roster there. I mean, they're on to something. They just need to add a couple of more pieces. I've been hearing a lot of good praise for Paige down NXT. I don't know if you check that out a lot.
I don't get to see NXT very often, but I have seen some of Paige's work, and she is definitely fantastic, and is also another person who should definitely get pulled up to the main roster soon, I believe, and somebody I would love to run into later on down the line.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, how about TNA? Have you been able to catch up with that product?
TNA, I honestly never see. I never have time to watch that because it falls right on one of the days where I'm working like a double shift. So. Have
you faced Gail Kim before? I can't recall.
I have not faced Gail Kim, no, but that would definitely be something that would be awesome as well.
Now, I don't know if you heard, but Gail Kim, she's got an open challenge going on right now. Basically, if anybody can beat her, they get a shot at her Knockouts title. From the little bit of work I've seen from you, I think you can give her a good run for the money.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I would love to be given the opportunity to see how far I can push her, because, I don't know, I think I could do it. I mean, you have to have confidence, right?
Right. And I don't know, maybe we can get a little, a Twitter campaign going for you, see you going over there and put her in her place real quick. Now, I understand you have some upcoming events. I know one of them is the Wrestling for Fun. That's going to be on December 13th. Can you tell the folks a little bit more about that and any other appearances you got lined up?
I actually do not know if there's a Wrestling is Fun on December 13th. I believe that is actually the Cage of Death date. I think we might. But yes, the events I do have coming up, the last one on my calendar this year is Cage of Death 15 for Combat Zone Wrestling. And I am absolutely, completely excited for that. Just because for me, CZW is my home. That's where I train. And it's our biggest show of the year. It's like our WrestleMania, and I always get so excited when it comes up because for me, it's just such a big event, and I feel like this is my home, like I said, and just seeing what my company that I take so much pride in can do, and the insane cage match that happens at the end never ceases to amaze me.
So how can folks stay in contact with you, follow your journey, see what all you got going on?
Well, you can always look me up on Facebook at facebook.com/bombshell, Kimberlee, Kimberlee, or you can follow me on Twitter at Kimber, Lee90, 90 at the end. And those are probably the two best ways to keep in contact with me. If you want to see pictures of my daily life, I'm on Instagram as Kimberlee CZW. So that's the best way to check me out.
All right, and we'll make sure that all those links you just said will be in the episode description for you guys that didn't catch all that. Kimberlee, I really appreciate you taking the time out to do this. I know it's a little bit late. Stay in contact. We definitely are going to be continuing to watch your journey very closely. Love to have you back one day.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right, well, you enjoy the rest of the night. Have a good week.
Yep, you too.
All right, bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one and only Kimberlee of Combat Zone Wrestling, CZW. I hope you guys had appreciated that interview right there. Some good stuff.